please like, subscribe down below. Trying to build up that channel. But today we're talking about a cell phone gimbal, which is a little bit different than most. So pay attention here. This is a Zhiyum 5S Smooth gimbal from Zhiyum. Alright, Zhiyum has a lot of other gimbals out there. The M2, the Crane M2, the Crane M3, some of the bigger ones. I've used those before, so I love the company just as much as I love DJI. DJI, them are pretty close, but I think you can get a better deal with these guys here. I am not a big cell phone... Ouch. I am not a huge cell phone gimbal type person, but there are a lot of folks out there that do. And I kind of dove into this one to try to figure it out and see what makes it different than the previous version they had, the 5. What does the S give you? So let's get started. Right off the bat, what does the S give you? Well, it gives you the lights. Lights on the front and this detachable light here. Let me get my ZV-E10 going here. It also gives you this little light here, which is a detachable light that goes on top of the gimbal here. So you can do it this way, you can do it from underneath, and we'll get into that shortly about where you can use it. You can also buy an extra one of these from their website for like 36 bucks. If you want two, you want to blast yourself with light. So you have the options for that later on if you decide to really get into this gimbal. Besides the light, it's also they advertise 25 hours of battery life and quick charging from this guy. 25 hours is a long time, so that should be good for a couple, maybe 3 or 4 days or a whole week. It says with classic 3-axis design, you can create inspiring content with no angle limitations. Some of the things they highlight right here are, of course, the 3-axis angle-free movement, unbreakable stabilization, vertical and horizontal shooting support, and intuitive panel control. So you can control a lot of things with the gimbal itself from your phone. They have their own app for this. I put it right here. It is right at the bottom, the ZY Cam app. Comes up like this. It's I think it's one of their older apps. The software makes the big difference. So within the app, you'll get a ton of different ways to do different style of videos. So different movements, different actions, and it'll kind of give you a tutorial. So you can actually choose a setup on here, and it'll tell you, all right, you need 5 seconds of this angle. You need 2 seconds of this angle. It'll prompt you to go through those angles so you can create that same shot. So it kind of helps you, give you a learning process as you go and use your gimbal. That is what makes, I think, this a little bit different than most. You can go out and buy any type of cell phone gimbal out there if you just want a gimbal for your phone. But again, it's the software behind it that kind of really beefs up what you can do with the gimbal and the phone together. Because these phones are getting better, right? Like the 14 Pro Max has, even the 14 Pro has action mode, so it's got better stabilization off the bat. So if you're just looking for a little bit of stabilization, it kind of already has it. But if you want more to get those different style shots that you really can't get using your hand too much, this is what this comes into play. And then now we have lighting involved, which really helps increase your quality of your footage. So if you're doing TikTok stuff or all the different social media stuff, it does your portrait mode. That way you can get the shot. It will also track you. So it has a tracking feature that you just kind of put a box or square of your face of the person, and the actual gimbal will sit there and move and track you as you go along. All right, let me show you the box that it comes with. So you could put keys, there's a zipper right here. You can add things inside, so whatever you got going on, microphones you want to add to kind of put in here. But it's a pretty big box. Whether you would use this all the time, I don't know. It kind of depends on what you use. But it does allow you to stow away your gimbal pretty nicely, so it doesn't get damaged or hurt. They also give you in the combo set that little light and some gel filters, different colors that you could use to kind of change up your shot. Red, yellow, orange, I think blue is at the bottom here. So that's that. And then it comes with a cord, micro USB-C. Put your stuff in there, and some side pockets right here. My Coke, my water. some bigger side pockets, a lanyard, and some more side pockets. So you can put a lot of stuff in here. That's the box. Material's nice. It's got a little handle on the side here, so very nice touch with the combo set. Let's get into the actual gimbal itself and the controls. We'll start here with the main big dial. Like, what is this for? Well, this is for zooming in and focusing. Probably you'll use it more for zooming than anything else than focusing, especially with a cell phone. How much are we doing manual focus? Are we punching in and trying to capture that focus from the foreground to the background to get that cinematic shot? It's there if you need it, if that's what you're into. But for me, I would mainly just use it for zooming in and zooming out on the fly. And it even has a dolly zoom feature within the app. This is the button on here side that switches between focus mode and zoom mode. Move on, here is a menu button that will actually bring up the menu of the app while your phone is connected here. Your joystick for moving the camera around, your light button to turn on the light, and then to adjust the brightness of the light, your mode button for the gimbal, your record button for turning on and off, your power button, your function button. I don't use too much with that. There's a quarter screw on the back here. You want to add something to this setup. Again, a microphone. And then you have your trigger on the back where you can pull the trigger 3 times and it'll spin the camera around. A locking of the axis right there. You can review your footage. You can go into the ISO and you can kind of punch into your display. And you can also change some of your settings on the fly. Most of the time you're probably going to use your finger on the phone to adjust some of the settings within the app. That's probably how most folks are going to do that. But the gimbal itself feels solid. It comes with this small tripod here. So what's good about this gimbal that it holds, what's it, 300 grams I think it is. But it's a lot of weight for a gimbal to hold. And it's easy to balance. Now, if you don't know much about balancing a gimbal, that's okay with this one. Balancing a gimbal can be very frustrating with different style of cameras because you have different axes you have to balance. This guy here has one point, right? You're right there. That one screw is going to be your balance. So whether you're balancing it in portrait mode, seems to be that's the new and latest greatest thing is portrait mode. Us older folks don't like it, but that's okay. We're old. So in this mode, you want to balance it where it's nice and flat like this. It doesn't really have to be perfect with this gimbal because they're pretty strong and it will overcome a lot of discrepancies. There we go. Finally, got it. Power button, it's not like some where you have to like double click. It's basically hit it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then let it go. And voila, it is on. So we have portrait mode kind of deal here. And then within the app, it'll come up with different ways to use the camera. Let's say we just select that. It'll give you a kind of video here on the side, kind of showing you what you need to do. And then it'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 6 different setups, and it'll tell you how long they will be. So let's say if I start recording. And let me do another one, the second one, and then you go on. Right now I'm not moving, so it's not really happy with what I'm doing. But that's how kind of you play around and get different style of shots that you don't normally would know how to do without some instructions. And this is what it's for, to give you the instructions. So let's go with the light here. I turn the light on. Is it on? You can see that this one's on too. So they're both on. And the dial will then adjust the brightness of the light. It can get pretty bright. Blinding bright, actually. You can then flip this light around. It's got 2 little connection pieces back here. There's no way to charge this light separately. You can't use it for something else differently. It only can be used on this gimbal. So with the light, you can have pointed one direction and the other one pointed back toward you. That way, if you wanted to film something out in front of you with the main cameras and then do a quick turnaround using the front camera on the iPhone to get a shot, you have that light right there. You don't have to worry about flipping the light around or something like that. Again, I'll show you some video I did outside walking around, getting some shots, what it looked like from that kind of angle. But if you really are going to use your cell phone as your main video style of tool of device, a gimbal like this is important to have. So without a cell phone gimbal of this type, it is really difficult to create these creative shots by using it handheld or even on a plain tripod. So if you have the phone on a tripod and you're trying to do certain things, this really kind of opens up doors that we didn't think were possible. That is the Zhiyum Smooth 5S. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Yeah, fun thing to play with. I love the light. I love the long battery life. It is a very unique style of gimbal. This crazy contraption here. Remember that? I just reviewed that, so I'm actually using it now. So, all right, I got the microphone set up right here. That's gonna be, hopefully something comes out okay, either the phone or the wireless. This wheel, and you can see I'm zooming out, and then I can go ahead and zoom in. Now, what you need to keep in mind is that you're jumping from camera to camera. So it's gonna jump right there and then go all the way into 6x zoom. Let's go at 6x zoom. So this is the most vulnerable for shakes. So we're just walking normally pretty much. And how does it look at 6x zoom? Man, should I just be using my cell phone and stop using all these other cameras? All right, it's a little too tight. Let me back up a little bit. And this is your wide angle shot, of course, and this is hard to get on your own without some type of gimbal. So it produces a good image. Of course, the iPhone has a great image, but again, this is a way to really enhance your ideas of filming when it comes to cell phones, and they're getting so much better today that you can do stuff like this. So we'll walk over here, right? You could do like a slow pan, and we could almost dolly. Whoops, you gotta watch your speed. You can adjust this in post. I'm sorry, you can adjust this in the settings, how fast you want your dial to move as you walk. So I'm gonna go ahead and back up and zoom out. And then we'll walk, zoom in. And then we'll walk, zoom out. Oh, if you go to manual settings and you adjust your camera manually, you're not allowed to jump between cameras. So it's the only thing. So if you have manual settings, you won't be able to go from one camera wide angle like that all the way into using the 3x camera and to punch it in that way. So that's the only little drawback there. You just gotta watch that jump right there where it jumps between cameras.